we've seen a little bit of the disappearance to some degree because of analytics in the mid-range game. Texas lives there, and they live there well. And not just Booker, but Rory's an elite mid-range shooter. Jordan Lee does a great job of curling screens and getting to the Big 12 logo or the logo on the court and taking shots. And so, and then they have great size. You don't need 12 players in a rotation to be good. But, with Cunningham and Oldacre, they have elite size at the 5. And so they've got 10 fouls and physicality and can be elite screeners. And when he wants to play through the paint, he can play through the paint with them. Sid Berry gives them a ton of energy at the 4. And Justice Carlton is just an elite scorer. I mean, her points per minute played are crazy. And so, they really don't have a lot of weaknesses. When Preston plays, they've got another elite defender with great pace. And so he's got a really talented group. But I think above and beyond that, they play really hard. They play really hard, and they execute at an elite level. They really are good screeners.
How good was it to see Jana get super involved, and what is she going to add to maybe attacking their depth in this game against Texas?
Yeah, I mean, Jana just needs to be confident. I think seeing Jaden Donovan guarding her, I don't know if they'll start the game with Rory on Talia or Rory on Jana. But Lee is an elite defender as well. She just does it a little bit differently, but she's got more length. But I think it's the confidence she needed coming into this game. If you look at our history with Texas, Jana has played, but not a lot of minutes since she's been here, and I think it's she needed the confidence to know that she can use her speed in the full court, But what does that look like when you play fast, when you back it off? What are you looking for? And I've come in here and said, she's the one kid on our team that if she only gets 2 shots and we win, that's all that's going to matter to her. I think she has the same mentality that Rory has. But I certainly think it's important that she makes shots when shots are available for her, because she is a good shooter, and to see her get downhill and get a couple finishes in the last game was good. But it's all going to come down to her decision-making process in this game. When we're playing fast in transition, which we've had our most success against them, are we making good reads? If we miss a couple shots, are we backing it out and creating good opportunities? And a lot of that stems from, what she's able to do. Sarah Andrews controlled tempo against them in our wins. Jada had good games over the last couple years. But really it was Sarah, managing the game for us when we were able to win against Texas. And so we have to do a good job managing the game, and I've got to help them do that.
Anything else? Okay. Notice from this, y'all are ranked real high in defense. How much of a emphasis, I guess, has that been with this group from the very beginning?
Well, I think, we knew our defense was going to be different. I don't think, we don't have the ball pressure that we had a year ago. That's just not how we're going to wear Talia out. And so, I think we get a little more ball pressure when we sub and Markayla comes in. But we knew it was going to look different. We've switched way more screens this year than we've switched in the past. And tried to keep a body on a body. We obviously are blocking more shots. I think we started the year a year ago blocking shots, but over time, as we played better opponents, we didn't block shots as much. Nettie wasn't a shot blocker. She could block shots, but didn't a lot of times. And, so I think our defense is a little bit different, because we've played a little more with switching and size and length. But this team's going to test us in a different way than any team has tested us defensively. Their ability to get a piece of the paint, their ability to make contested shots, and also have the rebounding presence that they're always going to have at the 4-5, and the way they screen. I mean, their playbook has to be bigger than ours, and there's going to be multiple screening actions in all of them. And so I think they do an elite job of running their staggers and their baseline screens, and then they hit you with a back screen in the midst of their staggers and run someone to the rim. And so our ability to communicate and get through screens is going to be more important than we haven't played anyone that screens the way they screen, like anyone.
How important is having someone like Johnny in a moment like this? She knows Vic so well. So do you. But, what has Johnny's role been this week going into this game?
I think a lot of it has been philosophically. We've had play calls. He adds plays each year, but a lot of them, like we can watch film and see, that 2 down is 2 down. You still have to guard it, and rarely do teams successfully guard their 2 down, regardless of whether they know the play call or not. So I think it's kind of been a little bit more in the what he's looking for, why he calls what he calls, like way more philosophically driven. She knows how he thinks, and so that's probably the biggest help in terms of why he runs what he runs and what he's for sure looking for, as opposed to play calls or obviously we know that they run dribble drive, like that's not a mystery, but kind of like even conceptually the system of the spots on the floor, I think has been a big help. Like the terminology we may use is different than what they use, but I think it's a lot of that.
And then, for all intents and purposes, you're underdogs going into this one. Is that something?
Oh, well, we're underdogs.
Right.
That's fair. That's fair to assume.
Right.
Like they're ranked second in the country. They're undefeated. They're coming off a Final Four run. Like they've got, a lot of McDonald's All-Americans, and they're well coached and they play really hard. So they have a really impressive combination of skill. They're veteran, Old Acre's a senior and Cunningham's a junior, and even their young guys, like Jordan Lee does not play like a young player. And she played a lot as a freshman, and I think in one of the games they put up a stat of their sophomores, and the jump that their sophomores have had from their freshman year, and with Carlton and Preston, Lee, and all their numbers, have significantly increased, and also their minutes. But we're the underdog. That's okay. We were the underdog against Duke, and we know that we've got to play really, really well to beat them.
Any thoughts on the new boss? Have you met with?
We're gonna meet next week. I've spoken to him. Obviously, I think I said this on the Mosley show yesterday. Of course, everyone was nervous. Mac is the person that hired me, that believed that I was the right person for the job, and I knew had my back. And so you just want to know that person has your back, and it doesn't matter in this profession if you're winning. It's you want to feel that. But I know I appreciate his deep love for Baylor. I think he's excited, and I'm excited to get to know him better, and the challenges that are present in this marketplace right now, and how we're going to go about dealing with them. Because I think, when I meet with him, believe me, I have a long list. And they're not just asks, they're philosophical. Like, what are our plans in these areas, and how aggressive are we going to be? And, we have to be more aggressive in the NIL space, to stay competitive. And so, but I'm excited about who he is and the things I've heard, and I haven't heard anyone say he's not an elite human, and that's a good place to start. And what his experience outside. I guess I was an outside the box hire when I got this job too, and so I'm certainly always going to give people a chance. So I don't think like it was sitting back. I didn't have a person I don't have a dog in the fight. I wasn't lobbying for anyone to get this job. I just wanted someone who has an appreciation for women's basketball and is going to fight for us to have the things that we need to continue to be successful. Yep, thanks.
I think like competitiveness. I think that's one thing that we strive for. And we've had Duke, we've had Davidson, Iowa. So I think that this team's going to bring competitiveness. I don't think we back down. I think we just like to prove ourselves. So I think that's the main thing.
I mean, KJ, you're also familiar with Texas, playing against him at Oklahoma. I mean, what do you remember from playing against this really good team?
Yeah, I mean, these games are always fun. These are the games you circle in your calendar. These are the games you want to be in. So just coming from Oklahoma and to be here now, still being able to play them, it's just a high level of competition. You know, you really get to see what your team is made of. And my bad. I think we're excited for that, to see where we are. I think this would be a good test for us to kind of get ready to go into conference.
Bugs, do y'all embrace the underdog role?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I think this team is really competitive, and we're like, okay, we'll take on that challenge. And I think just being a new team helps us too. We're all still trying to work together and figure things out, but that just what makes us better. And definitely taking on the underdog. There's no pressure when you're the underdog, so it's always good to be the underdog to come in and show what you've got.
KJ, are you the only Texas player on this roster, right, from Texas originally?
I think so.
You might, you probably have I mean, obviously your Oklahoma ties and everything, but did you grow up watching Texas, and what does this game mean to you?
Sadly, it was just a made thing. I was born into it, but I always supported Baylor too. There's a lot of pictures of me in Baylor gear, so I'm meant to be here. So just happy to be on this side.
And what has that message from Coach been for you guys leading up to this game? What is that message you just keep hearing from Coach?
Yeah, we have to compete. We really have to play, and we have to focus. We have to lock in on the scout. We have to realize we're about to play a really good team. And we have to do it together. We can't do it individually, and so I think that's a big focus for us. And just our fight. I think our fight is the main thing that we're gonna have to focus on in the battle, whether it's in the post or the guards. It's gonna be a whole team for 40 minutes. So we just gotta take pride in it, do it together.
Bugs, y'all's defense has been really good this year. How much emphasis has that been? And do you kind of, again, embrace that role of defense being priority?
Oh, defense is huge. One thing about Coach Tony is you can't play defense, you're not going to be on the floor. So just know if anybody gets on the floor, they can play some defense. So, no, we take a lot of pride in defense. I think defense definitely wins games. It helps you get into transition, helps you get into offense. So we really take pride in defense. It's just the little details, especially. I think those things separate teams. But if you can get it done on defensive end, offense will come.
Same thing to you, KJ. Just how much does defense kind of define your game? I know you're one of the leaders in blocks.
Yeah, I think we, as Coach Tony says, we have to allow our defense to fuel our offense, and I think we focus more on that. We get better things on offense. So I think sticking together, having each other's back, guarding our yard is very important for defense. And, we're a very good defensive team, when we can talk and communicate and be on one page. So I think just focusing on that is really a key thing for us.
Bugs, you have traditionally played pretty well against Texas. I think back to the 2023 game when you upset them in Austin. You had 20 points and a double-double. Do you get up for games like this that are maybe a little higher level?
Honestly, I just take it one game at a time. It's not necessarily I'm super happy. Always fun to play Texas. Texas is always a challenge. They're a really good team. They challenge you defensively and offensively. So playing them is always good. But I don't think there's necessarily a personal challenge. I think that game was a little bit more personal for me because that was freshman year. So they they did me bad the first time, and I sat down by Coach Tony. Like I said, if you don't play defense, you can't play it, can't figure it out, you got to come sit down. So I just think that game was kind of personal, and I know I told Coach Tony every day after that, leading up to Texas again, I'm gonna know how to do it. So I wouldn't say necessarily it's super personal. Like I said, it's always just fun to play Texas. I can always keep that chip on my shoulder. It's a good kind of rivalry game. So just to be able to play them again one last time is going to be awesome.
And I guess, KJ, you've won a few games in a row. You've won big margins. How are y'all feeling going into a game? Are vibes high?
Yeah, we're feeling good. This team's vibe is never going to be low, I'll tell you that. So we're just ready to compete and have fun. Being the underdog, like she said, is just so fun. You have nothing to lose. You're just out there playing basketball, having fun, doing it with the people you love. So no matter what our previous scores are, we're looking right ahead and to see what the next challenge is in front of us.
Bugs, is this one of the deeper Texas teams you think y'all have played in the last couple years? And how important is it for full rotation to get involved if y'all want to beat them this week?
I would say yeah. It's definitely different. I know in previous times playing Texas, different roster, but I think they're just the same Texas still. I don't think there's any drop-off ever. Like I said, they're a really, really good team. So they're always you play over there, you step up and take on the challenge. And I think, like I said, it'll be a good competitive game. They're very competitive and physical. So if we come in and just match that, I think we'll be all right. Thank you.
Did it really?
Yes.